Welcome to Basement MTG with me, a nerd in his basement. In this video, I'm going to be going over the red, white, blue deck that I call my one for all deck. It is based around this creature here, and creatures similar to it, Mirror Wing. Whereas if you cast an instant or sorcery that targets only Mirror Wing, then you can copy it for all the other creatures you control that the spell can copy. Each copy targets a different one. Now, Mirror Wing is a little different than the other creatures that do that in this deck, as this is for any player, which is nice. It kind of protects it from removal. If someone tries to remove it, then they are essentially removing all their own creatures as well. I take that idea, though, and beef my creatures targeting Mirror Wing, or the hope is to draw and target Mirror Wing, and copy it for all my other creatures. So this is just the stack of lands over here. Usually, in some other videos, I've gone through the non-basic lands, but most of these lands are just dual lands, triple lands, evolving wilds. The only two I'm going to show are the Halimar Depths, which is just a nice way to kind of tailor the top of the deck by looking at the top three there. Or Nivix, Area of the Firemind, where you can, again, kind of float through your deck a little bit to get those instants and sorceries. Get maybe a card advantage there, an extra card. And now for instants and sorceries, these are all going to be mostly things that you would target a creature with for such and such ability, but the hope is that you'd have Mirror Wing or Zeta Hadron Grinder, which this does the same thing, except it's only when you cast it. It's not any player. And there's some other creatures in here. I think that, let's see, where's, I thought there was one, yeah. There's this one too. So when you cast it, that targets only this. If you control one or more creature, then that it could target, choose one of those creatures. But so this is similar, but it's only one extra creature. Anyway, the instants and sorceries. Target blocking creature gets +7/+7 for only 1 mana. So you got Mirror Wing out and all your creatures you need to block up. Well, you can beef them up pretty hard with that. I like this one. If you go all out attacking, people think you're wide open. Well, you hit refocus, untap it. If you have Mirror Wing out, then it untaps everything, and you draw a card for each one that it copied, keeping your hand full. Now, Repulse has kind of a double play in this deck. Not only you can return any creature that's attacking you to their own hand, draw a card. But if someone's trying to play mass removal, like a board wipe, which some friends in my group that I play with definitely play with a lot of board wipe, or it comes up often, I would say. You can target Mirror Wing, and it would target everything else, return them all to your hand, kind of save you for that one. Invigorated Rampage, you can either target 2 creatures to give them +2/+0 trample, which that would not copy for everything if you were targeting Mirror Wing. You have to only target Mirror Wing, but that's where the first ability, or the first choice comes in. You could give a creature +4/+0 and trample. This is something somewhat similar. Sure Strike, target creature gets +3/+0, but instead of trample, you're giving it first strike. 2 mana, target creature gets +1/+7. So this one's similar to that other one, but instead of 7/7, it's 1/7, and it doesn't, or it's not refined to just, or what am I trying to say? It's not just for blocking creatures. Target creature gets +0/+3 and hexproof, 2 mana. It's a nice way to, again, to protect your creatures from some removal. Brute Force, just a way to beef them, give them +3/+3. Now, I really like this one, so when you try to do some mass removal, you try to save one creature, well, if you save Mirror Wing, then it's going to copy and return all the other ones. At least I think so. Return a creature you control to your hand instead of target. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. But that was the idea behind it, so might have to look that up and make sure that's the case. But even if that was the case, that I couldn't target everything, you save your Mirror Wing, everything else gets destroyed. You can play the Mirror Wing back out and hopefully build back up into something again. Put a token on that's a copy of a creature. You got Flashback. Now, some of the legendary creatures in here, obviously, one would come out and you'd have to destroy one, but Mirror Wing itself is not legendary. There's a few other ones in here that would be good. Mantis Rider, things like that you could copy. So if you targeted Mirror Wing and it copied for everything, wouldn't be too bad. These next three are all kind of similar. They're all put a 1/1 counter on a creature. This one gives it lifelink indestructible. This one flying, prevent any combat damage to it. I'll show you, this is just 2 mana here. 1 mana for the flying and preventing damage, and then 2 mana flying indestructible. So just some ways to help out, save some creatures and stuff, especially if Mirror Wing's out there, save them all. This one I really like too. 1 mana, target creature can't be blocked, and then draw a card. Copy that, fill your hand back up. And lastly, a 1 mana, target artifact or creature gains hexproof and indestructible until end of turn, scry 1. All pretty good spells to copy if you've got the right stuff out. Now for the non-creature permanents, we've got a Narset, Ancient Way. Not going to read through every ability, but I'll stick it up here so you can see. Just a nice way to sift through some things, draw on some cards, getting a little mana for your non-creature spells. Narset Transcendent. Again, she deals a lot with looking for non-creatures, so you can look at the top card of your library, try to get some card advantage. And that emblem at the end ability, your opponents can't cast non-creature spells, is pretty game-changing. Teferi, put them up there. Just some more drawing cards and things like that. And as you saw with some of these spells that draw some cards, if you get his emblem where when you do draw a card, exiling permanents, that can get kind of crazy. Jeskai Ascendancy goes with the non-creature theme, give him +1/+1, untap them. Or if you want, you can draw a card, discard a card when a non-creature spell is cast. Isochron Scepter is really great for this deck. I wish I had more of this card, but I really don't. But as you saw from these spells, almost all of these instants in there are 2 mana or less, so you copy that. When you imprint it to this, then you can cast the copy, which I do believe, since it says you can cast the copy if you target Mirror Wing, it is still casting a spell that targets only Mirror Wing and would then go to everyone else. And with it being imprinted on this, unless the artifact's destroyed, you're doing that over and over again. Right here, whenever you cast a spell that targets only a single artifact or creature you control, create a copy of it, and it's not legendary. So that's nice for not only Mirror Wing, you can make a copy of it anytime you do, but also Zeta is legendary, but you can make a copy of him that is then not legendary. Cast Through Time, instant sorceries, you have Rebound, a little bit of a pricey enchantment, but it's nice to keep those spells recycling a little bit. Sunforger, other than the blue spells, it's a nice way to pull out those red and white cards, the ones that give them indestructible and flying, hexproof, and all those types of things. Just pull them right out of the deck by unequipping this equipment. Once it's equipped, you just pay the 2 to unattach it and search for them and cast it for free. Last but not least here, Sword of Once and Future, +2/+2, protection from blue and black. Great things to have protection from. And when it deals combat damage to a player, Surveil 2. You can cast an instant sorcery with mana 2 or less from your graveyard, which, as you saw, most of those are 2 or less. And if it would be put in the graveyard again, exile it. So a nice card to have in there to supplement, again, recycling the instants and sorceries. Now for the creatures, obviously we got Mirror Wing. I do have 2 of these in here. That was all I ended up pulling from this set here. Then I have Zeta, Hedron Grinder. Let's see, I think I have another one of those in there too. I did get a bunch of these ones, but I felt 2 in the deck was plenty. There are some times where you don't draw these cards in there, but you got to hope that the rest of the creatures can pull through here. Mantis Riders, just a flying Vigilance Haste 3/3. I don't know how to pronounce this. Avika Enigma Goliath. It's got the ward 3, you can pay 3 life. Flying, but yeah, when you cast non-creature spells, you get that many 1/1 tokens where it's the mana value. They gain haste, so it's a nice way to kind of build up some more creatures to, when you're targeting Mirror Wing and things, just go down the line and have a bunch of creatures out there. Monastery Swiftspear, again, with the prowess. Now, I do believe, unfortunately, I think when you cast the spell on Mirror Wing, that will give this prowess, but once it's copied for everything else, that's not actually being cast anymore. It's just the copies target them. So it doesn't beef up a ton, which would be pretty out of control if it did. I have another one of those in there. Sage of the Inward Eye. Cast a non-creature spell. Creatures you control gain lifelink. Just a good way. Keep yourself around. Gaining a bunch of life. Ojutai. Just a nice fit for this color of deck. Just get dragon in there, tapping things down. Also, Mirrorwing is a dragon, so that can also tap things down when he's attacking. Kronos, God of the Storms. It's enchantment god. If your devotion is not 7, which is devotion deals with the color and the mana cost. If you don't have 7 red or blue mana cost symbols, then he's just the enchantment. But it's an awesome enchantment, awesome creature, indestructible. And when you're revealing the first card, that you draw on each turn, you can reveal a land, draw an extra card. If you reveal a non-land, it does 3 damage to target creature or player. So either way, you're dealing damage or drawing extra cards. 2 Lightning Angels, Flying Vigilance Haste, similar to the Mantis Rider, but it's a 3/4 for 1 extra mana. Okay, I thought maybe I had another Mantis Rider, but I don't. Jerry N. Ruin Diver, cast a second spell, draw a card. Got to get that card drawn going. Cast an instance of sorceries. Then you can cast ones that share a type. Now this one, it's kind of niche for the casting one for free, because most of them are 2, or there is the 1 mana one, so you'd kind of have to have them both to be able to do that. But if you don't, you get the token. And it's a first 3 mana, 2/4 first strike mana. It's nothing to sneeze at there, so kind of a nice little card to have sometimes. Ojutai Exemplars, I really like this one. The tapping creature is nice for when you cast a non-creature, but also just giving them first strike lifelink when you're casting those instants and instant speed. It's a nice way to deal with some things when people are coming at you. Lice Hext. Prowess. I don't know if that's Lice or Lice. I don't know how to pronounce that. Non-creature spells cost 1 less to cast. And if you have 2 or more non-creature spells cast in a turn, then it gets double strike. This is the nice card for it to be, what am I wanting to say, like recycling all the instant sorceries you're playing. So when you're casting them, that targets a creature you control, well, you can exile it instead of putting it in the graveyard. And then at the end step, bring it back to your hand. Archaeomancer, I've got 2 of these. That's just to get it, again, recycling those instants and sorceries, keeping them rolling. Jace, Rin's Prodigy, draw a card, discard a card. If there's 5 or more in your graveyard cards, flip them over to the Planeswalker. I'll hold that up, kind of read through those. He's just an awesome card in general, so it's a nice card to have in there. Elsha of the Infinite. Prowess, may look at the top card of your library and cast it if it's a non-creature, non-land card, and you can cast it as though it had flash. So as you know from all these other non-creature, non-lands, take a look at them on the top, get an extra card per turn, sort of like your top of your deck becomes part of your hand there. Now this guy, I really liking it too for some recycling. At the beginning of your end step, you can exile a target non-creature, non-land from your graveyard, get a spirit, sack a spirit to choose a card exiled with them, and play it without paying its mana cost. And then even more recycling, if it would go to the graveyard, it goes to the bottom of the library instead. So get it right back in the deck. Abbot of Carol Keep. Prowess, when it enters, exile a top library, and you can play it until end of turn. Just a nice little creature there. Early game, get an extra card. And since it does say, let's see, you can play the card, you can even do land, if it's a land or anything, it's all fair game. Tygam, Ojutai Master, instant sorceries and dragons you control can't be countered. There's a few dragons in there, the Mirrorwing and the Ojutai, but it's more for the instant sorceries not being countered. And then it gives the instant sorceries rebound, which again, just another way to recycle those. Now Narset, Enlightened Master, it's kind of a love-hate card in here. I'm not sure if I'm going to keep it in here. It's a great card to get those non-creature spells cast for free, but it's a tough, if you don't already have Mirrorwing or the Zeta out, then it's kind of risky to exile those top 4 cards. You don't want to exile your Mirrorwing and then not be able to get the combos you want going. So, I don't know, it's kind of tough sometimes. If you don't already have it out, It's a little risky, but if you do, then it's pretty great to start casting spells for free. Just a nice cheap card to get out. It can possibly create some 4/4 dragon tokens. And it's that last one that I already showed. Also a nice cheap card to get out in the beginning. And when you target him, you can target another creature. So that is the contents of the red, white, blue One for All deck. If you liked this video, make sure to check out this deck being tested against the self-playing decks to battle the Horde and to defeat a god. And make sure if you like these videos, like and subscribe. Check out some more videos of some other decks being tested. As always, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.